Brian, you had a real emotional attachment to this film. Another film that you actually have a pretty strong emotional attachment to.
Oh yeah, we have another movie.
Yeah. Or at least...
I was wondering if we were going to get to it.
Yeah.
Is the film Breaking Away, which is... it came out in 1979. It was nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated for a lot of Oscars, and it did win for Best Screenplay. Mm-hmm. It's directed by Peter Yates, who did a lot of films in the 80s. Stars Dennis Christopher, Dennis Quaid, Daniel Stern, and Jackie Earle Haley.
Dennis Quaid.
As kind of four best friends who are in Bloomington, Indiana. And one of them, the fellow played by Dennis Christopher, what's his actual name?
Oh, I don't remember.
Dave, has become obsessed with an Italian cycling team and has started to pretend to be Italian. He starts to learn Italian. He starts to go around a small town pretending to be Italian. And his family starts to become very worried about him.
Doesn't he go to the University of Indiana and try to pick up a girl?
And tries to pick up a girl and pretends to be an Italian exchange student. And his name is after a famous Italian opera singer.
Yeah.
And what the film is really about is about the working poor trying to live and accept their life with living in small town Midwest America.
A small town where, basically the upper class come to get an education and then leave. So having to, deal with people that look down on them on a daily basis. If you try and describe the plot of this, a small town teen obsessed with the Italian cycling team vies for the affection of a college girl. It's just
that's not the movie. That's not the movie at all.
And it's so bizarre, this plot. I can't imagine pitching this plot to a movie studio.
Probably wouldn't have gotten made today.
Yeah, no. It's a lot of young actors.
Dennis Quaid wouldn't have been a very good pick.
Steve, how did you feel about this movie? What did you think?
So I watched this before watching 50-50.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that's a pretty good movie. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's interesting. The relationships between the characters are interesting. But honestly, after watching 50-50, it just feels trivial. It's like, come on, dude. So you don't want to get a job. Suck it up. That guy had cancer. So I'm having a hard time, I shouldn't have watched these two movies so close together. Because I'm having a really hard time empathizing with a guy who, basically doesn't want to get a job.
But it's more than that.
It is. It's way more than that.
Who doesn't want to... Struggling with his social class.
Yeah.
Struggling with, do I accept... And struggling with his own identity. Do I allow myself to be a lower class citizen? To be what they call me? What does that entail? What does that mean? What is friendship? I mean, in the same way, I think both of these films do friendship.
Yeah.
Really, really well. And they are both very funny. They're both pretty darn hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I was a little disappointed with the end because you're right. It is about him struggling with his social class and coming to accept that he's a cutter. So he's, he's a townie, basically. And, he doesn't want to be that. He wants to be something special.
Thank you.
I take that back. Bless you. So
I hope that little demon I just sneezed out kills you.
Yeah.
I hope it kills you.
I should have told you Derek sneezes out demons. I'm sorry. For you audio people, it's amazing to watch. Watch the video.
He's dancing on the table right now. Looks like
it's a sorry lesson.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyways, but then at the end, he's seen, as a college student, he, went beyond. And so it sort of undercut the whole theme of the story, or the film, which was, accepting your social class. Because even at the end, he moves on. Isn't
that a better theme to, not accept your social class? To be okay with where you come, but to try and progress? I mean, well, that's what's so tough about the film that I was struggling with.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a film where it's just the bourgeoisie are better than you, so just be or do you? But I agree with you to some extent. The end is really troubling because they do win the race against the college team, and there's this sense of kind of
which is great.
Great, yeah, and it's cool. This is one of the few films made about cycling ever.
Yeah.
And it's good. God. It's good cycling. It's pretty cool to watch. I wonder how Dave felt about it.
Well, the one thing that, like, my friend he's a pro cyclist, and he watched it with me, and he kept saying that would never happen.
So, Brian, we've been talking a little bit about Breaking Away. Breaking Away is kind of it was a classic movie. I know in your family, it's your father's favorite movie, right?
One of his favorite movies. I don't know if it's his favorite.
He's very mad because something else beat it in 1980.
Yeah, Kramer vs. Kramer.
Kramer vs. Kramer, which is a good movie. Yeah, but
I think it was the time period of when Kramer vs. Kramer came out, which is why it won. But it was just
yeah.
Then because Dustin Hoffman.
Well, Hoffman's very good. Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman could have won Best Actor and it would have been fine, but that movie wasn't all that good. Not Best Picture good in my opinion, but I think I've been spoiled the last couple of years. I think all the movies that have been coming out that are winning Best Picture are just amazing.
Yeah.
But I've watched this quite a few times actually when I was growing up because my dad liked it. Every time it was on TV, he would turn it on and. So it's been a while since I've watched it, so it's hard for me to like bring up specific plot points for it. So I just remember actually the most recent time I was watching it, like appreciating it so much more because when I was little, I was just watching it and like, oh, it's a movie and they're riding bicycles at some point and blah blah.
Funny lines.
And there's funny lines, but like actually. Seeing the relationship with him and his father, like how his father didn't really want to accept him as for what he was doing.
It's pretty dark.
But his father is, I have to say, his father is pretty funny. Like one of his lines, he's shaving his legs.
It's hilarious how his father doesn't like accept him for who he is. But his father, he can understand why his father doesn't like it because. His son is basically shunning his family.
Yeah, right.
And that's why...
His son's also so irrepressible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, his father is like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, oh, Papa, it's okay. And you're like, what the heck is going on? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is almost like... This movie basically is almost a metaphor for, like...
It's a metaphor!
Cow's grazing. It's almost a metaphor for, like, coming out of the closet. Like
in some
way,
a
gay child coming out to their parents. And it feels like that kind of movie where, he's definitely, whether he's straight or gay, he's flamboyant, right? And he's sort of, struggling against his parents and eventually gets his father to accept him for who he is. And so it's a metaphor for that.
But then he also rejects that Italian persona when he hits reality and he races against the Italians and they cheat.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Italians
of course. Yeah.
Anyone who watches them play soccer, they realize that.
Yeah. And he comes to see this reality that, the world is not this beautiful, perfection, and the family that he thought he wanted to have, he realized he was missing out.
Yeah.
And that's when you start to see him turn towards his father. And I think there's some really, really, it's a beautiful, beautiful film. And it's also cool to see like Dennis Quaid actually at that age.
Yeah.
Acting. And Jackie Earle Haley acting.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that little side story of Jackie Earle Haley and the girl.
And the girl, yeah.
Like
it's really sweet.
Yeah, it's really sweet, but
superfluous.
No. Actually, I thought it was really important because you have this kid who accepts his, he has no problem with any of it, and is like moving forward in his life by marrying a girl that he loves, and even though he doesn't need, there's that moment where they're going to the courthouse to get married. And there's like in that sweet little moment where he's like, "We'll go Dutch." Because they don't have enough money to get the
money to pay for the marriage license.
Like it's a nice little moment that shows what, even though it's not perfect, all the things that he's rejecting that are really sweet and beautiful in a way.
Yeah. Well, let's.
Mufasa.